What's up everyone, this is Ben with Swift English. So today we're going to take a look at gist content as well as gist purpose questions. They're pretty closely related, so let's take a look at both of them. Okay, so with these question types, they appear in the beginning of your set of questions. So they'll always be question one, and you'll only receive one in each passage. So if you have a conversation section, you're going to receive one there. If you have a lecture next, you're going to receive one there. If you're going to have another lecture next, you're going to receive one there. You're never going to have two of these. Okay, so why does the man go to see the professor? Okay, so this is a gist purpose question because it has the why in the sentence. They want to know the reason, right? So the man here is a student, and the professor, well, that's obvious. Now, sometimes they might say, like, why does the professor want to speak with the student? Why does the professor want to speak to the woman? In a different conversation, you might have, like, a student who is interacting or speaking with a librarian, a manager, an employee, or staff member, or something else, okay? So they're not always going to be between a student and a professor. This is just, one kind. So anyway, let's take a look at this. So we want to find our notes first. So we have S for student and we have P for professor. So here, hey professor, I was elected to student government this year. Okay, doesn't give me a reason for this though. So let's keep reading what the student has to say. The professor just congratulates them, but just focus on the student section. So the reason I came by is we're getting ready to conduct a straw poll on campus. Okay, so this word reason makes me feel good. Let's see if we can extract anything from here. We're going to hold an informal vote since the general elections are a couple of months away. And we want to get a feel for the student body's political leanings, like who students are planning to vote for, the political party they identify with, stuff like that. Okay. But maybe keep going a little further just in case there's something a little bit more specific as well. And we're creating a website for it, and students are able to vote online, and they're looking for a faculty advisor to help. Okay, and we're looking for a faculty advisor to help, and we're hoping you'd be interested. Okay, so we'd be hoping you'd be interested. Okay, so now at this point, these two lines pretty much gave away the clue, okay, the hint. So basically, the reason he wants to speak to the professor is to get help from them for this particular political related project. Okay, so let's see. To suggest an idea for his research project, idea makes this one wrong. This is the keyword that tells me this is the wrong answer option. Why? He's not asking her for help to come up with ideas. He already has ideas, and as we saw, he elaborated on them. Choice B, to tell her about his election to student government. He did say that, that's true. It was mentioned in the listening, but they didn't use this as the reason for why this man, the student, wanted to see the professor. Okay, this is not the reason. Choice C, to ask for help on a political project. So this option does make sense. Help is the key word there. And yes, he did discuss his political project, and the reason he came by is to get support on it. And that's it. So C is the right answer. Just check D really quick to discuss methods of gathering public opinion. No, that's not the reason he came to speak to her. Okay, so let's take a look at another one. This time, this question is related to a lecture. What is the main purpose of the lecture? Okay, so they do have the word purpose here, but this is actually more of a gist content question, not a gist purpose question. But anyway, they're almost the same thing. But when it comes to the strategy for this one, just be a little bit cautious. Kind of think about this question this way. Like, what is the lecture mainly about? What is the professor mainly speaking about? So with the lectures, they usually frame it this way instead most of the time. And what you want to do before you look at any of the answer options or choices displayed here, you want to really look at the sections of your notes to see what they mostly talked about. Because wrong answer choices could be false information, information not mentioned, or they could be information that was indeed mentioned, but they discussed very little about it. Okay, so let's take a look here. So that was from our conversation notes. These are from our lecture notes, US literature class. So clearly, as you can see, it's a lecture. So when I'm reading the lines here, I could see this is some kind of background related to realism, kind of has a date there. So that could be like something related to when it happened, and they might have a little bit of information about the cause. I don't see too much, but we look further, look at society as a whole, late 1800s, people were interested. So, okay, scientific method and rational philosophy, people were trying to discover the truth using reason and fact, and they were not analyzing stuff. It was involving analysis, so reasons and facts, and sometimes they like to repeat themselves. So, okay, so this is a little bit about the origins of realism, like what caused this to happen. Okay. And at the same time, realism was becoming popular. A lot of people, there was a lot of political and socioeconomic changes basically in society, right? In the country. And this increased literacy, growth, there was growth of industrialization and urbanization. There's growth of the population from immigration and the rise of the middle class. Okay, so these are kind of mostly about the cause, like what's causing people to adopt realism, right? And where it came from. And then later you'll see like they talk about a writer and how she explained realism. And again here, they kind of now are starting to get into the characteristics of realism. Like firstly, to begin with, it focuses on reality and great detail. That's a characteristic right off the bat, right? And, they try to aim for verisimilitude. And this was a concept. If you can, guys, anytime you encounter a concept, just write a star next to it, because you will probably receive 1 or 2 questions about concepts. And so verisimilitude, to seem true or real, like a photographer rather than a painting or something like that. Okay, these are about characteristics. And here, like events, things, it's plausible. For example, anyone and characters believable to and important. So, okay, there's more importance on the characters than the actual plot, the story. Okay, got it? And they talk like real people talk, and they have authentic speaking styles, and they're from different regions. So you get the point, guys. Kind of toward the beginning of my notes, I had a lot of information about like what caused realism to happen. So in those first 2 or 3 sections, they were exploring the causes, the origins of realism. But then like later in our notes, we kind of noticed these other sections I created, they were mostly about, the characteristics, the features, okay? The defining aspects of realism. So now when you see this, what is the main purpose of the lecture? What is the lecture mainly about, right? What is the professor mainly discussing? To highlight realism's causes and characteristics, this checks out. Choice B, to explore plot and character development in realist literature. No, I don't quite remember seeing that in my notes, not much. And they had some very brief information about character development. But it was more about the way they spoke and stuff. So not a good answer choice. Choice C, to examine realism's contribution to social change. They do talk about social change in this lecture, but they don't really examine the contribution of social change. And if they did, they didn't really expand on it for the most part. Choice D, to show how realist authors influence literature in the United States. Actually, they did have a discussion, and there was a part of my notes about how they contributed to realism, but about just general literature and not much. So yeah, this based on what we have here, they mainly discuss the causes and characteristics of realism. And that's it, guys. So simple as that. I hope you liked it. Please share and subscribe it. Hit the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one.